All right. So first and foremost, how are you doing today, my friend? It's really great to talk with you again. How are you feeling? How's life going? What's going on?
Okay, after having COVID and after like doing all the stuff for the trip in Hartford, I'm back. I'm back to the grind. I'm back to stream. I'm back for my boys, and today I'm back for you in order to make this interview. So I'm ready for whichever question you have. So let's go.
That's great, man. Yeah. So just for your chat, just for some context, so Nesh and I tried to record this interview a couple times, but the thing was we had a little bit of an audio issue. So I think now that's all going to be fixed because Nesh is going to be able to send me the VOD. He's going to be able to send me the audio, and we're going to get this up on the YouTube channel hopefully within the next week or so. If you're not already subscribed to Nesh on Twitch, go ahead and do that or follow him. He's been great. He's been very classy and willing to answer my questions. So that's wonderful. So why don't we just hop right in? Just for my viewers on my YouTube that may not have seen you or have not really delved into your videos like I have, just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're here to do today.
I mean, today I'm here to show people the lines of a place, because I hate when I see streaming or featured streams or I see people at the devices at high tables misplaying. Obviously, when you are featured, there are a lot of things involved, but that's my content. I roast people for misplaying, so get it out. You have to get it how it is, like that's my content. And if you get offended by my words, I'm not the guy for you. Like I'm not the guy to follow. Then if you don't like roasting people for misplaying, I love this game, and I want to improve myself and other people in order to play perfectly. That's the word I want.
Yeah, that's that's something that I firmly believe in is like you wouldn't really make a comment on someone else's gameplay if you didn't care about their gameplay, right? Like you would just ignore it if you didn't care. So that's something that I've always respected about people is that giving your input is literally just a sign that you care. Everything comes out of love. It's just that we all express our love in different ways. And you roasting people just happens to be the way that you like to express your love, and that's a wonderful thing. So before we get started with the rest of the questions, I'm just curious, just for my viewers, I know that you have your viewers in the Twitch chat, but are there any shout outs that you would like to give?
Okay, I want to shout out to WAF, I want to shout out to Luxury, I want to shout out to the barbershop, and I want to shout out to my chat for always cheering me, supporting me, giving me donation, and a special shout out to the guy who paid for my trip in Hartford. Like, that shit was insane. I was on Pack stream, and this guy popped out of nothing, and I was like, Nash, what do you think if I pay for your flight in Hartford? I was like, bro, there is no way. Let me post my PayPal with the quickness. I posted my PayPal, and 5 seconds later, I got 400 euros on my PayPal. I was like, bro, I'm paying for that shit. I want you in Hartford. And I was like, yo, bro, holy shit.
That's amazing. I can't believe it was just some random person that you had never met.
No, I never met this guy.
That's amazing. So I'm going to see you in Hartford then. That's wonderful.
You
I get to actually meet you in person.
All I have to do is just fixing my documents about my... I never went to USA. So basically, I need my passport. So, yeah. Because
wow, so you've never been to the USA?
Never. I studied in the Ardingly College in Brighton. I stayed in London for 1 year, but I never went to USA. Never.
Yeah, so it's going to be great to welcome you to the USA. I'm sorry that the first state you have to visit in the USA is Connecticut, unfortunately.
You are not the first one.
The weather will be...
Is that bad?
It's not that it's that bad. I personally love Connecticut. I've lived here my whole life, other than when I was in college. I went to school in New York. But just so you know, for your viewers who may be in Italy that aren't familiar with the United States territories, the Connecticut is just north of New York. So we're also just south of Boston, or of Massachusetts. You might know it as Boston. But so we're around different things that are kind of cool in the country, but we kind of got the shaft when it comes to interesting things to do. You know, Connecticut has a lot of history. The only thing is, it's so freaking cold here, Nesh. But hopefully, the weather's going to get a little warmer by the time you come around. That's what I'm really hoping for. And I think that all in all, YCS Hartford is going to be a great event. We're going to have some amazing competitors there. For those of you who don't know, my sponsor, Imperial Gaming Collectibles, that's the locals that I go to. We have some of the most competitive players in the entire world. Just to name drop a few people, Paulie Aronson plays there, who's the previous YCS champion. I believe either 1 or 2 YCSs before Elijah Green. Also, as you mentioned, LoganJYA, that's the team that you now play for. Joe Bogley is actually a competitor over at our locals as well, and we also have countless, YCS and nationals competitors as well. So it's a very competitive locals. But yeah, looking forward to welcoming you to the United States, my friend. That is going to be absolutely wonderful. And if you don't mind, one of the questions that I have for you that we talked about on my last attempt at this interview with you was, you had a really cool idea for a new hand trap that you would want to introduce into the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! That you kind of designed yourself. So why don't you tell our viewers what that hand trap would do?
Okay, so the hand trap I would love to be in the game. It's because I love that sort of mechanic, right? How do you spell that? Mechanic, right? So
yeah, mechanic.
So what I would love for an hand trap to do would be a quick effect that books a monster. It works against floodgates, it works against combo matchups, and brings the game to a different level and makes it slower. Like a sort of Ash Blossom that books a monster, Like a quick effect. And design it to be an hand trap. It would change totally the game and would be like a 5-head game, in my opinion. Like booking a monster in chain to an interruption, or booking a monster after Dark Ruler, because that's how it works, guys. Basically, if you get Dark Ruler on your monster, let's say you have Invoked Raging, and then you use the Invoked Raging and Chain Link 1, and you book the monster in Chain Link 2, Raging will resolve because booking a monster removes the lingering application of a card effect. So I think the game would be on a total different scale of level if an hand trap like that would be released.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. And like I said, I think I said this to you the first time we tried to record this. If that kind of hand trap came out, I would absolutely play it at 3, because think about it. Think about the implications in the current metagame, right? Like normal summon a Prank Kid, book it down. If you don't have the Brave Engine, the turn is over. Or for example, if you just booking anything really, it kind of turns off that card to the game state to some degree. So it's pretty interesting because we see a lot of players now kind of. There's a trend in the metagame, right? People are moving away from hand traps, and they're kind of implementing more board-breaking cards into their strategy. So we see cards like Book of Eclipse. We see cards like Book of Moon. Like the top deck on DB for a little while was playing those board-breaking cards. Yes. So I'm curious, what's your opinion on hand traps versus those board breakers, and what kinds of a place do each have in the metagame currently?
Okay, so there is actually a very interesting theory I experienced a lot since the release of Triple Tactical Talent. Now, Triple Tactical Talent might seem a weird card for someone, might seem mid in some specific matchups. But because of that card, there is always a shift in the meta in between board breakers and hand traps. The meta will start always with hand traps, then after it got adjusted, will go on board breakers, or will be the reverse in some scenarios, start on board breakers and then moving on hand traps. But then Triple Tactical Talents comes in, spinning back the circle in board breakers. Because if in a meta with a lot of hand traps, people start siding or main decking Triple Tactical Talent, then you have to take back your previous theory and go back on board breakers. And this circle is all of chaos, that one card.
Yeah, exactly. So there are a couple of those defining cards in our metagame, right? Triple Tactic Talent obviously being one of them. And we are seeing a resurgence of that card in the metagame just due to the high volume of hand traps that you can find. I think that hand traps were kind of on trending falling off, but now with the release of the new Albaz structure deck, and how powerful Ash Blossom and Ghost Spell are against that deck, we are seeing those come in, and so Tactics talent is going back into the main deck. So we're kind of into like, yeah.
Talking
yeah,
about
go ahead.
Ghost Bell, I think that card is not that amazing against Despia. I think the best card to fight Despia are Arch Blossom and Didicrow. People are sleeping on Didicrow. Didicrow is actually the best one.
Tell us why Didicrow is the best hand trap against Despia.
Because there is Branded Lost. Branded Lost basically enable your opponent from answering the activation of your fusion spells or fusion effect. And Bell negates the activation of the card or the effect. So it's very easy to play around the Bell, and also Bell does really work because, like, imagine if you open Branded Fusion. Okay, Branded Fusion ends on Mirror Jade, Aluber on the board, and Red set. So what's gonna happen is Mirror Jade is gonna banish one card on your board the next turn, and it's gonna give me a follow-up by sending the fusion in the graveyard. Whichever one, might be Titanic Lad, might be Sprint, might be the Three Brigade one and the Brigand, or might be also like the Albion. So I'm gonna have basically an effect that banish a card on your board, and then I'm gonna have a recovery from that effect. And your Bell is gonna answer one branded in red. But all of that comes up from one card activation. So you basically went -1 and I went +2. That Bell literally gave me a pot of grid.
Right, and people are also sleeping on the fact that, you know, Didicrow has a bunch of other implications in the current metagame as well. First and foremost, we see Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer just running rampant all over the meta. Banish that right out of the grave, or, you know, if you don't have a chance to banish that, you could always take away their Celestial so that you can cut off the draw too. Fairy Tale Snow is a big card that's being played in the base strategy. There's just so many cards that you can take out of the graveyard. If you happen to be playing against that one rogue striker player, you can hit the Ray, you can hit the Engage. I mean, I think you're right that people are sleeping on Didicrow, and I am seeing that card come up a lot more. So it's possible. It remains to be seen if people are going to start incorporating that card into their main and side decks. But I think it is a really good choice for this metagame. And yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it's not once per turn, right?
It's not once per turn. I rather prefer Didicrow instead of a Bell. I don't like Bell in the mirror. If I side one card, should be Didicrow. That's about it.
All right, and so moving on, I have another question for you. This is kind of changing gears here. I want you to talk about like the real life implications of Yu-Gi-Oh. So what kind of life lessons has playing Yu-Gi-Oh for so long taught you?
Okay, so let's go back a little bit. When I was a child, I had my father bring me to the locals because I actually played Yu-Gi-Oh in real life back in the days. And I loved that environment. Like everyone was equal. And that dream of everyone being equal made me love this game. That's the lesson. That's the most important lesson I learned from this game. Everyone is equal. And that's not a thing you always get to know when you are a child. Because there is a lot of ignorance in the world. But being able like to treat everyone at the same level, meet each other, talk, even to grow to older people, okay, and let them treat you as an equal person, not like a kid. It was a fantastic environment.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. Like the concept of equality, right? Like for your viewers who don't know, I'm actually a special education teacher in the district that I grew up going to high school. I'm not sure how do you refer to high school in Italy? You just call it high school?
Yes, high school. Like for example, I read the post on Facebook recently on Zodiac. There were this guy in the local, okay, who was talking about one of his friends which had issues, okay, issues about learning issues, and he was going to the local and he was playing the game, you know. There were someone which complained about the guy because like the guy was calling out plays during the game of other people. The guy was calling out plays, blah blah blah. But the majority of them was treating him as equal, even though he had like learning issues. That's not a thing you see every day. That's a thing I love to hear. That's a thing I love to read, you know? Like, everyone is equal in this game. Or for
Yeah.
most of them, everyone treats everyone equally. And no matter which issue you have, if you can play the game, if you can interact with people, makes also you friends. Like if you have issues about making friends, like that's a fantastic environment for me. That's why I love this game. That's why I want this to grow up. That's why I want this game to move to esport organizations, even though it's being a lot harder recently. But yeah.
Yeah, man. I think that concept of equality, and first of all, I think it's a beautiful thing that these people were helping out your friend there in locals to learn to be a better duelist, especially having a learning disability. Because the fact of the matter is we are all different, but we are all equal in our hearts, right? We are all
Yes.
walking this earth together and trying to learn together. And I think you touched on something important, which is that the majority of players that I've come across, I've been playing since 2016. And the majority of the players that I've come across since that time have been willing to help me get better. You don't become a better player or a better person by keeping knowledge to yourself, but imparting that wisdom on others makes not only you a better person, but it makes them a better person. It gives them the key to be able to have the tools to grow as a person and as a player. And I think we see that a lot in the Yu-Gi-Oh community. And having said that, I actually just recently did an interview with Yassine. You can go check out his channel as well, Yassine636, where he was talking about how sometimes at higher levels of competitive Yu-Gi-Oh play, there can be a sense of arrogance. So, do you want to kind of delve into that a little bit? Like, what kind of attitude do you see at the higher levels of Yu-Gi-Oh play? And
Okay.
is there a toxicity issue with it?
Okay. Um, there is a good side and a bad side from from people being arrogant. Let me explain because someone might misunderstand my words. So
Mhm.
basically, when you test every day, when you build decks, when your theory level is on an high scale, okay, you don't really wanna start to zero talking to someone who just entered the game. It's not a thing you always want to do. It's sometimes like it comes naturally by talking to someone which you has the pleasure to talk with. Okay, like, but it's not like, for example, if someone DMs me and he tells me, Nash, I come back to the game after 10 years, help me to get like back in my shape. I'm not really. How can I say that? I'm not really engaged to teach someone from zero, okay? Uh, it's something that has to come naturally with someone I talk with or with someone I usually like chill with. If 10 people DMs me like around like if 10 people DMs me in the same day asking me like, Nash, help me to get back in the shape because you are a good teacher, you know how to work, you know you know every deck or you know most of the decks, it's not a thing I would answer or I would feel like I would do that. If you get what I mean. So someone
I
might
do get
say,
what you mean.
someone might say, no, Nash is a prick, he's a piece of shit, he doesn't want to help me. Yeah, it's not like that. It's because I was in your shoes back in the day. I was basic. I had no knowledge at the game. I worked on myself. I did everything on my own. So it's not like I don't want to help you. It's like I have to take 12 or 20 steps back in order to teach you the game, and I have to do it then for everyone DMing me. It's annoying. It's annoying for someone.
Yeah, I see that Elise Davis is in the chat. How you doing, Elise? She left a comment saying the best people to teach new people, or the best people to teach new people are people who are decently new. Those people know what they needed when they started, unlike us experienced players who forgot. And I think that's a really good point. Is that the amount of progress in this game is incredibly exponential, right? There's a big stagnant point where in the beginning of the game, I don't know if you can relate to this, but when I started playing, I was getting very discouraged, right? Because I had joined late into the game, in 2016, and players were already, absolutely tooling me at this game, and I bought a Toon deck, right? And I showed up to my locals, and I had a Toon deck, and it wasn't even built optimally for a Toon deck. And I got really discouraged, and I said, what can I do to actually get involved in this game? And think about someone joining the game now. Think about someone who has never played Yu-Gi-Oh before that wants to get into a metagame where we have link monsters, we have Xyz monsters, synchro monsters, and not only that, but they're all incorporated into the metagame. So having said that, you have people DMing you all the time about how to get better as a player. So what is some advice for new players, and what are some of the resources that they can use to actually get better as a player?
Someone might be against that, but I would say NetDeck. NetDeck. Go on every good website you know. It's not only YouTube. YouTube is mostly bad for those kind of things. I would say the Road of the King is one of the best one. Follow the OCG scene and NetDeck. That's my answer. Then after you NetDeck and after testing the deck, you will see like you will understand more things. You will understand a lot of things you weren't able to understand on your own before. And then you can work on your own deck list with your own strategy. But before than that, you have to net deck.
Yeah, Noah in the chat is actually saying that there's nothing wrong with a good net deck, and I completely agree with both of you. Net decking is one of the ways that inexperienced players can look to what kinds of strategies are working in our metagame and saying, okay, these are the cards that I need to be successful. Now, how can I incorporate these cards into my own play styles, make a couple little adjustments? Can I learn this deck efficiently? Can I watch replays like yours on DB Grinder's channel? And can I learn how to play these decks efficiently where I can incorporate myself into a metagame?
I think
but the thing is, we need...
Sorry,
yeah.
Continue. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. It's fine. Go ahead.
I think DB Grinder does a great job. I think he's one of the best YouTube channel to watch if you are a new player. So I mean specifically a new player because he explains stuff. Pac is also another great player that makes combo tutorial and combo videos, deck profiles. Those are great ones to watch, in my opinion. If you really want to learn the basic of a deck, or to go in the deepest in the deepest scenarios. For example, videos about games. Those are the best ones. Those are the best ones to learn the game from the very, very start. Watch DB Grinder at his first YouTube tutorials. It's a great experience. Watch Pac during his first Twitch videos. Those are very Pac started from zero. Pac actually started from zero. You wanna learn the game? Go on his fucking Twitch. Go to his first videos and speedrun all of them.
Yeah, exactly. We all started from zero, and it's one of those things where as long as you have internet access, as long as you have access to a locals, there's absolutely no excuse why you can't have access to this information, because it's out there and it's completely free. There are so many people that play this competitively and at a high level. You have Patty YO talking in the chat saying, Pac literally taught me how to play Prank Kids, and Nesh is speaking the truth, and that's exactly right, because you have access to watching all these people. And someone like me, I started my YouTube channel about a month or two ago, and I've garnered 530 some odd subscribers, and I'm very thankful to all of you. But all I did was reach out to Nesh in a very kind way. And I'm not saying that Nesh is going to be receptive to every single person that reaches out, but there are plenty of people in this community that you can reach out to. You can friend them on Facebook. You can follow their Instagrams. You can follow their Twitch streams. And you can learn quite a lot in a condensed environment. So definitely take the time to explore the resources that are out there for you. Get familiar with the metagame. Get familiar with the ban list. See what kinds of decks people are playing. And don't be afraid to net deck, to exactly copy the strategies that people are using. Because at the highest levels of this game, especially in something like a tier 0 format, we're all playing the same decks, right? We're all using the same strategies. Why don't you actually... That's kind of interesting. So good segue. Why don't you talk about tier 0 formats? What's your opinion on a tier 0 format versus a triangular format? What do you think is the healthiest way to play this game?
Okay, so I love mid-range decks. I don't think the tier 0 format is enjoyable to an extent, I would say. To an extent, it's not enjoyable. Why? Because experienced players who has a very high knowledge of the game, will find a way to make an unbreakable board in a tier 0 format. And they will follow some hidden rules you will never know about. Like for example, there were some hidden rules in the Dragon Ruler format, and there were no knowledge about those. People didn't know about that. Like if you knew those kind of rules, you would win. I would say, like throwing random percentage. I would say like 80% of your games, knowing those kind of hidden rules. But now, the thing is, now we have YouTube, we have Twitch. There are so many platforms that gives you all the knowledge you need, and a tier 0 format might be actually more toxic than it was back in the day, because people are gonna actually build unbreakable boards.
Yeah, unbreakable boards are kind of an issue, and I think we started to see that a little bit when Artifact Scythe and the Scythe lock was prevalent about a month or so ago, and it's trending towards Scythe kind of falling out of favor in the meta with the release of the Albat Structure deck, and with people piloting a bunch of different decks right now. We're lucky to be in a meta where there are quite a few decks, but it's thanks to cards like Verte Anaconda and Halki Fibrax and Auroradon. It's these cards that enable decks to all pretty much accomplish the same goal, but in a different way. So having said that, I want to know, like, for my viewers and for the people in the chat, what are some of your thoughts on the current meta? What are some of your thoughts on these cards like Halki Fibrax and Verte and Scythe? And what kind of implications, based on the meta that we've seen over the past month and a half or so, what do you think could happen on the upcoming ban list?
Okay, so Halki Fiber has to go, Chaos of Regulus. Scythe has to go because the card is stupid. Makes no sense at all. Auroradon might not go now, but it has to go in the future. Bert has to go. The card is stupid. Like, what you can do with Berta right now is disgusting. And it's a link to, like, 2 generic monster going into a fusion monster. It's so broken. DP, Dragoon. Now we have also the Albaz engine. So, no, that card has definitely to go. If there is another thing I would like, please. Ban Scythe. Ban Scythe and ban Shifter. Shifter is another card.
Shifter.
We hate Flanderis. Flanderis, these nuts! They have to go! They have to go. Cut win condition from that bullshit deck. Holy shit. I don't wanna get Shifter anymore. Prosperity, Banish 6, Chain Scythe, Chain Shifter? Hello? Like, that shit deck has 90% win rate when it resolves Shifter. It's so stupid. So stupid.
Yeah, Shifter's a hand trap that just does a lot, right? And it's kind of it's definitely, like, in my opinion, it's the most powerful hand trap. It has the highest ceiling and the highest amount of things, or the biggest. It can impact the duel in the biggest way. And of course, with a deck like Flunderies, where all the cards want to banish themselves and can give you added value based on the fact that they're banished, it's insane. And not only that, almost every other deck in the metagame wants to put their cards into the graveyard, and the graveyard has kind of become like a second hand or a second deck for all intents and purposes in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I just want to segue here a little bit. I see people in the chat asking who Nesh is talking to. My name is PaperYGO. Once again, I'm just going to drop my my YouTube channel in the chat right now. If you wouldn't mind giving me a sub on YouTube, I would really, really appreciate that. I release a new video every single day. I vlog my locals as well, and I release deck profiles. And of course, this interview with Nesh is also going to be up on my channel, so I would really appreciate that. But yeah, like you were saying, Shifter is ridiculous. We do hate Flunderies, and a card like Scythe, like, why is that card in our metagame right now? It's so easy just to lock your opponent out of the extra deck, and it doesn't allow the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! To be played as it was intended, right? So I think that's a huge problem that Konami needs to address. And it remains to be seen what they are going to do in the upcoming ban list. But hopefully it's nothing like the Master Duel ban list. Now, are you a Master Duel player, Nesh?
I hate Master Duel. Because
talk a little bit about that. Why?
Okay. So I thought it was like a revolutionary website, a revolutionary game. I was like, bro, they are gonna put TCG on Master Duel. Let me drop $200 on the first release, and I did. I pulled shit. I pulled shit, like absolutely dog shit. Like all the super rares, like bro, imagine spending $200 and pulling like 3 ultra rares. That's, oh my god, I was tilting. I was tilting, but it's okay. It's okay. I was like, okay, let's proceed. Let's proceed. Let's play this game. It's gonna be fun. They're gonna put the best of 3. I'm pretty sure. Nothing. 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 New ban list. New ban list. How can you dare to put Roxys to 2? Now Prankits is unplayable. Oh no.
Oh,
Oh
no.
no. Oh no. Lau to 2. Oh no, I cannot make VFD anymore without my third Lau. Oh no. Let's not address the issue. Let's not address VFD. Let's put Lau to 2. Bro, they don't know anything about this game. Or they are just too much greedy. They are just too much greedy to not like limit or ban ultra rares, because otherwise they should refund like the gems. But okay.
Yeah, but it's interesting, right? Like that's a really good point, because not banning a card like VFD in Master Duel and not banning a card like Rongo, it's like, I think both competitive and casual players of the game can agree that those cards do not need to be in the game. Like, you're not making anyone happy by keeping those cards in the game. And we've also seen just an incredible decrease in the player base in Master Duel, right? Like, I know that people were balling out on Master Duel when it first got released, and now the player base has dropped like over 50%, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that, but look at the amount of players that are playing now. It's nothing compared to the amount of players that came out. But whether you love it or hate it, a follow-up question that I have for you on that would be like, do you think that Master Duel has a place in the Yu-Gi-Oh realm, and kind of what's the staying power for Master Duel, right? Is it going to be something that we see competitive play, and is it something that's going to be around in 20, 30, 50 years?
I mean, if they proceed like that, it's gonna be down in 1 year. To be honest with you.
Yeah, like, yeah, go into that a little bit. Like, it's just, what do you think they should have done on the ban list besides the disaster that it currently is? Like, if it were up to you, what would the ban list be?
I mean, the ban list. First of all, let's put TCG. Let's put TCG. First of all, let's put TCG back in the meta. Let's put TCG because like we love it, and there are so many people that wanna test for the upcoming OICS. So why not put TCG? And another thing to do would be a ban list closer, or at least the same as the current one. So why not?
Yeah, right. Like, one of the things that Yassine and I talked about in my interview with him was, first of all, there's no incentive to play Master Duel, right? Because we're just playing to get these gems, to get more decks, to play more. There's no prizing. There are no official tournaments as of yet. I know that Konami did say that we were going to do some kind of world championship for Master Duel or something like that. So I guarantee you, or I mean, I would hope that there's going to be prizing at something like that. But it's like, there's no incentive to really play the game. And playing the game doesn't make you better as an OCG or a TCG player just because of how drastically different the formats are, right? So it's almost like Master Duel has become its kind of standalone project from Konami. But I think that the game has a really good shell, as I've mentioned before. It has great graphics. The gameplay is very clean. And I think that there's a lot that Konami can do with Master Duel. And I think that they released it at a really good time, right? Because it came out in a time during a pandemic where, millions and millions of people all across the world were affected by it. Countless people's locals went bankrupt. And Konami gave us this game where they said, hey, you can play a form of Yu-Gi-Oh! From your home. And I think that was really great. It's just, it needs a lot of work. And it remains to be seen where Konami is going to go with it. But I have high hopes for it. I think that the issues that linger with it are easily fixable. So it remains to be seen. We'll see in the future what kind of staying power Master Duel has. So segueing here, just changing gears a little bit again. I want you to talk about, for my viewers, you run the Coliseum, or you and your team, right? And I want you to delve into the Coliseum a little bit. How did it get started? What is its current place in Yu-Gi-Oh? And how do you love taking care of the Coliseum?
Okay, so the Coliseum was an idea. I had because of luxury couldn't run anymore money matches, couldn't do any more money matches, couldn't do any more tournaments with cash. So I decided to open that place because I loved the Iron Man scene, and because I got to know a lot of people because of those, and I then decided to make the best possible Discord for Iron Man, cash games, and all of the stuff, literally for free, to get people involved and to play competitive.
Right. So you have some of the highest tier players there who are, currently playing for money all day on the Coliseum. And talk a little bit about your team, because that's something you touched on, in our last attempts at this interview. So I know your team is very important to you, and I just want you to talk about them a little bit and what their role is in the Coliseum.
Okay, so in order to enter in the Colosseum, you have to send me all of your infos. You have to send me basically your card ID, your driver license, because I don't want possible scammers. I'm not saying there is no chance for a scammer to enter in the Colosseum. I'm saying it's very, very hard for someone which his intent is to scam people to enter in the Colosseum, because they have to go over multiple steps, and usually takes 1 week to enter in the Colosseum if you are not lucky. And then I wrote every rule, and I have different judges, middlemen for every state. I have middlemen for Brazil as well, and everything's free. Like, it's literally free. All you have to do is just apply. You have to dox yourself, that's true, but that's the only way to save people from being scammed. That's about it. And I wanted it to be the safest place. And I paid for everyone in the Colosseum who got scammed. Like, at the start of the Colosseum, there were someone who tried to scam because my method was not perfect, and I paid for everyone from my pocket. I was like, you know what? I want this to be the best Discord server ever, so no one is gonna get ever scammed in my Discord. So I paid for everyone who got scammed.
Yeah, and that's really important, right? As you touched on before in your videos, basically, like, there is no reason not to pay out those people who got scammed, because first and foremost, your reputation as a human being and as the person who runs the Coliseum, it has no dollar amount, right? You want people to feel like the Coliseum is a safe place for them to play competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, and that when they give money to one of your middlemen, that they're going to be receiving that money in full if they win the duel, right? And like you said, reputation is important, because it only takes one false slip to ruin your entire reputation. And I think that's something that the people closest to you have vouched for you about, that you do have a lot of integrity when it comes to the Coliseum. And I think that's a wonderful thing. And yeah, I noticed that the Coliseum invite link was dropped down below in the Discord. So go ahead and check that out, guys, if you haven't already. I noticed that someone in the chat asked, let me see what the name of that person was. Oh, it was Scooby Snack 7. They asked, Nesh, do you think that Despia is the best deck right now? Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
I think Despia is the best deck, because it has answer in the main deck to every to every tier right now in the meta. Like, for example, against Plunder, you can send a Banshee with the fusion, and it's GG. Against DP decks, you just activate the fusion, and it's GG. Because DP was a very oppressive card before the Despia release, and now it's dog. Now ending with the DP does absolutely nothing. You get bodied if you end with just DP, when before it was like a win card.
Yeah, and I think Mirror Jade kind of has if not on equal footing, it's definitely surpassed DPE in terms of popularity. I think DPE is really good in a simplified game state, but I mean, so is Mirror Jade. It's just that DPE kind of took more popularity over Dragoon to some extent because of the bricks are better, right? Like when you send your Celestial and your Dasher to the graveyard and you're able to draw that 2 on the next turn, it's just putting so much pressure on your opponent because it forces them to have an out to that, or else you're going to be plussing super hard. But Despia right now, it's the way that I would describe it, right, is I don't think it's the most powerful deck that there is in the format. I don't think it has the highest ceiling. I definitely think it has the best recursion. It has the best consistency. You have so many ways to see Branded Fusion, and seeing Branded Fusion does it so much for the deck, right? And it just gives you such a big advantage against your opponent. So yeah, it's been about, let's see, it's been about 46 minutes. I've got to wrap up my lunch break pretty soon. Let me just ask you a couple more questions before I go. Is that all right?
Sure.
Okay, so as a veteran player, so what is just some advice, whether it be, advice in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh or advice in real life? Like if you had to leave my viewers with one piece of advice, what would that be?
Chat. Whatever it's Yu-Gi-Oh. Real life. And I mean, whatever it is, remember, chat. Remember, guys. Remember, watch. See the line.
The line. Talk about that a little bit, because I know that you said that to me in our last attempt at this interview. So explain to us, what do you mean when you say see the line?
Because like you have to choose a pattern and you have to stick on it. Whatever it's in real life, whatever it's in the game, you have always to act following yourself, your thought process. Don't change yourself. Be always yourself. And that's the best advice I can give to you.
That's wonderful, man, and I completely agree with that because my grandparents are actually from Italy, just like you are. And when I was growing up, I would spend a lot of time at their house, and they always said to me, walk straight, walk the path, peace, love, and happiness. That's what it's all about. It's all about being yourself, taking other people's feelings and loving other people and putting all of that into consideration. Conduct yourself with the highest integrity and teach others, because in learning you will teach, and in teaching you will learn. So what I want to do right before I go, the last question, I'm going to leave it up to you, chat. Post what questions you have for Nesh and I right now in the chat. I'm going to ask maybe 2 of your questions before I go, and while you're getting those questions in the chat right now, I just wanted to personally thank you so much, Nesh, for having me on your Twitch channel. It's an honor to be here. I've seen so much love and I've gotten so much help from the people around me, right? The people that I love the most and the people that I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh with, they've been so supportive of me. So I just want to, shout out to those people real quick. Imperial Gaming Collectibles, my sponsor. That's my locals. The owner of the store, his name is Art. He had no reason to sponsor me. I mean, he just did it absolutely on a whim. He trusted me to make content. And like you said, like people like Nesh checked it out. They said it was clean. And, it's just, he put a lot of faith in me, and I'm very thankful for that. And of course, all my friends, I have too many to count, and I'm definitely going to forget one, but it's like Brad, Ben, Brian, Eric, Chris, Avery, Sal, Paulie, like all you guys, Pops, Conrad, Aiden. Like I have so many friends, Joey. Like I have so many friends that I play Yu-Gi-Oh with, and I see them every Thursday. And it's not just a matter of just playing Yu-Gi-Oh. It's also just an experience with my friends. And that's something I'm very thankful for. And I'm 30 years old, and I don't know how much longer I'm going to be playing this game. Hopefully, at least a few more years. But I'm just so thankful for people like you, Nesh, that are receptive to lending other people a hand, and to exposing people to their viewership, and just to being a good friend. You are a good friend, Nesh, and I do appreciate you with all my heart, and I love you with all my heart.
Yo, thank you.
So I see. Of course, bro. Of course. Will Fresh. Yo, shout out to you too, bro. My boy Will. And I told you I was going to forget a few people, because there's so many people that I'm friends with. Desmond, Romario, like all you guys. Taz. Like big shout outs to Imperial Gaming, Jamie and Pat, and like all you guys, man. You guys are the best. You guys have been such great friends to me, and Zamidi and Min and Moon. Like I can't even tell you how thankful I am to just have all these friends and all these people supporting me and doing what I'm doing. And I just want to let you know that I love you all so much, and I cherish my friendship with you so much. But it looks like we have a question from OG Toady. What's y'all's ban list wish list? Okay, so I'll let you go first, and then I'll give my take on that.
Okay, Archefiber, Sight, Berta. Those are the first one. Then I would put Enchantress to 1. And am I missing something? Shifter for sure banned. Like that shit has to go. And to be honest, I'm kind of fine with that. Am I missing anything?
You tell me.
Okay, let me see. I mean, Weighted Plunder. Maybe Conquistador 2-1? Mystic Mine. Mystic Mine has to go as well. Yeah, Mystic Mine. I don't care about Featherstorm. The Wind Statue might go as well, to be honest. But I think Shifter is a very big hit for Plunder anyways. And yes, guys, I'm going to Hartford. So, see you there.
I see Victor Zymax in the chat said Conquistador. That's so funny, bro. Yeah, dude, Conquistador's got to go. That's definitely the problem, right?
No, guys, like that was an inside joke for Master Duel, but yeah.
Yeah, of course we're memeing on that. For my ban list predictions, I mean, I hate prank kids. I would love to see the whole deck die. Just put every single prank kid to 1, and I'm totally fine with that. But you know, obviously, we're probably not going to see that happen. But yeah, I don't know.
If you hit Berta, they don't have like DP, so I mean, the deck already struggles. Like by hitting Enchantress and Berta, the deck is dead. Like it's already dead. Stop baiting on that. It's already dead. Stop.
Oh, that's a good question. Actually, we should touch on that too before I go as well. Lelouch189 in the chat said, "What do we think of the Splight deck that became tier 1 in the OCG?" I would argue that it's tier 0. Yeah, let's get your opinion on that, Nesh,
in
for your
OCG,
viewers.
it's tier 0, definitely. I don't know in TCG. I mean, in TCG we'll have for sure an high representation, but I don't think we saw the best way to run it yet. Like, let's wait. Let's see how it goes. Let's see what Konami does. Let's see the ban list. Let's not fast forward into it. I think it's gonna be insane. I think it's gonna be broken. I think it's gonna be tier 0 or close to tier 0 in TCG as well. But let's wait.
Yeah, let's wait and see, because I know that a lot of people are obviously coming out with the combo videos. Our metagame is a little bit different than the OCG. It's pretty similar in a lot of ways, though. I mean, the biggest change obviously being that they have Max C. But yeah, it's like 1 prank kid equals, if I'm not mistaken, double Butler plus a Toad plus like cards in hand traps. Like, the deck is absolutely amazing. It locks you out of being Nibiru'd, which is insane. But one thing that's really cool that my friend Yassine talked about on his channel was that Ghost Ogre actually becomes a Gamma in that deck, because if I'm not mistaken, the Xyz has to detach as an effect, and it's not part of the cost. And if you can't detach, you don't get the effect, so it just turns into a Gamma. It just absolutely destroys the Xyz. And I think the Xyz is the biggest problem in that deck. You know, that's the card that's always going to have to eat a hand trap. And yeah, Backwater OG saying the deck is only good because you search Maxi. I mean, that remains to be seen. The deck is very toolboxy, right? You do have monster negates, you do have spell and trap negates. The spells are incredibly powerful. You can put in the frogs. You can get 1 Toad at double negates because you can bring it back. So it's just incredible. But if I were to give you my thoughts or my wish list for the ban list, I definitely agree with Nesh. I think Verte, it's time to go. Like, I think decks should do what they are intended to do. And Verte just being such a generic way to have recursion and follow-up in your deck, I don't think that it's Yu-Gi-Oh! The way that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is intended to be played. And I think that one of the things that Konami has to do a better job of doing is we need to start printing Link 2s and Link 3s and Link 1s that are more in archetype. Like, obviously, well, first of all, what do you think about Link 1s, Nesh? Because I personally think they're a serious problem.
Yes, they are. When you see a deck which is a good engine with a Link 1, then you already know it's gonna be broken. But the fact is, if you don't like print Link 1s for a deck, then what's the reason of playing Links? Because there are not a lot of good Links Okay, right now, like every good link got banned, got limited. So I would say let's make link once, but not too broken. I think it's fine because like link is a mechanic you need for like it's a mechanic you need for your deck. A mechanic. I always forget how to spell that shit.
It's okay. You got it. You got it.
It's a thing you need because otherwise, what's the reason of having a link in the game if it only comes up as a link to because there are no good links to, except for Vert obviously. But if you ban a Vert, then you need something else. Like you need something to go into. You need a strategy to run link when you go first. Like you need a link that does something when you go first, and not only to kill your opponent like archers code lines, you know. So I guess we will have to see, but I think link ones are a problem only if they are broken. Like there is a deck based on link ones. Let me double check. Should be like that does nothing. That's literally shit. Like Appliancer. Appliancer has so many link ones, but the deck is dog shit.
Right.
If you give Plunder a link one, then the game is over.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting, Manuel. Dude, I just want to say again, thank you so much for having me on your Twitch. It's been a real pleasure talking to you. And you know, send me the video and the audio, and we'll be definitely able to get this video up properly this time. And yeah, I've got the audio and the video on my end. Just send me your end, and I'll be able to get that up on my YouTube channel within the next week. I am going to be at the regional in Hartford, and I'm also going to be at the YCS. So if you are there, come say hi. I'm going to drop my YouTube in the chat one last time. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit me with a fat subscribe. Big shout out to you, Nesh. Thanks for doing all that you do. Thanks for educating, and thanks for hosting the Coliseum, and for, you know, teaching your viewers how to play Yu-Gi-Oh at a very high level, and imparting your knowledge on the masses. Forza Azzurri, Forza Italia. My name is PaperYGO. Chat, thank you so much for hanging out. As always.